Jesse, go up there and wing it.
Sure, whatever you need to do. Okay. Prosecution, you may begin. If you have a 1-minute opening statement, I will cut you off if you guys go over your time. You may begin from the front. Yes.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the court. My name is Jesse Kong, and I will be one of the lawyers for the prosecution in this case. Members of the jury, we are gathered here today to deliberate the case of the Mongols being an uncivilized culture. We will call on 5 witnesses to take the stand. We will call on Jubani to recall his accounts of the Mongol murdering people who had already succumbed to the Mongol will, and also the ruthless arson related to homicides of innocent victims. We will call on Pope Innocent IV, who will recall his account of the hostility shown by the Mongols and their need for submissiveness from victims. We will also call on Mutasim, who will share with us his recollection of the different ways the Mongol murdered individuals. And finally, we will call on John of Plano, and even Al-Atir, who will both recall their involvement with the Mongols and also share their expert opinions based on their historical accounts of the Mongols. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, defense might say that they were a civilized culture and this was the only way for them to grow.
Your time has elapsed. Thank you.
Right.
At this time, very fast. You may begin. There's 1 minute. You may begin.
Alright, ladies of the jury, my name is Justin Sung, and today I will be representing Kublai Khan, but more generally, the Mongols. Because you see, the defendants there, they've been falsely accused of being uncivilized, but according to the Oxford Dictionary, to be uncivilized is to not show advancement, both actually, more than both, 3, socially, culturally, and morally. But today, our witnesses will show that they established empires that, were clearly far from being not advanced in those areas. And so in conclusion, we'd ask you to deliver the verdict of not guilty simply because the prosecution will not have the evidence to support their burden of proof. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, the prosecution will call their first witness, John of Plano. John, you may take the stand. Order in the court. Order in the court. You may begin.
So, please state your name.
I am John, or as some people like to call me, Giovanni.
And why are you here?
I'm here because I gave one of the first Western accounts of the Mongolian Empire and what happened there.
Why were you sent to the Mongols?
I was sent to the Mongols to simply ask their leader to not invade my lands and the Christian lands.
What did you see about their battle strategies?
When they would fight, their people, Mongols, they would not actually go and fight their enemies head on. They would go to the side like, I don't want cowards, I want to say, but it's really not true. They would go to the sides so they could surprise their enemies, and they would have princes, generals, women, children. They'd even make little decoys to put on horseback behind their army to make it look like they had an endless number of people.
And how did Mongolian relationships work? Was it uncivilized?
As a Christian man, it was really uncivilized to me. They had, one man could have 50 wives, another man could have 70. One man could even have 1, but more than 1 is too many.
What did you see after they conquered your people? They conquered lands.
After they would conquer other lands and other people,
Oh,
they
I'm
would.
sorry, your time has elapsed.
Referino.
At this time, you are open to cross-examination by the defense.
Okay.
Please begin.
Alright, Mr. Giovanni, could you please describe the Mongolian battle tactics again?
Well, captured or non-Mongolian.
Actually, I'll just summarize it and then you answer me with a yes or no. How about that? So the Mongols employed superior battle techniques by flanking their enemies while creating a diversion of sorts head-on, correct? Yes or no is all that's needed. Yes, so. Yes, okay. Now, you say that as a Christian man, this polygamy offends you, correct?
I didn't say that.
But it goes against, okay. Never mind. Now, I ask the jury to consider this. Even in today's society, we show the same lack of respect towards women. Just because of a bit of misogyny, does that mean that our civilization too, which we consider so civilized, are we uncivilized too, just because of lack of respect towards women? I think not, and I hope that you think the same as well. So therefore, just because they engaged in polygamy doesn't mean that they're uncivilized, because we don't respect women as much as we should in today's society too. Also,
Is there a question in there?
Well, no, there isn't. He's just talking.
yeah.
Okay. You can carry on in your questions.
Okay, yeah, my bad. Okay, now please describe how the Mongols treated each other and guests.
Well.
Really well. Could you expand on that, please? Yes.
They treated each other like everyone, like family. If they didn't have food for a couple hours or even a couple days, it didn't really matter to them. They'd all be kind and nice.
Okay, so again, just to summarize, when they employed battle against Western peoples, they used
I'm sorry, your time has
okay.
elapsed.
Did you?
Okay.
He's got 5 more seconds.
Alright, at this time, I'd like to call the next witness. Which is you.
Oh, they're doing all.
Who's the next one on the list?
That's not very easy.
We don't have our Chromebooks open because we are respectful children.
Great. You're going to the stand. I will open up the thing. You may begin.
All right. Please say your name and your relation to this.
I am Atamela Giovanni, and I am a Persian chronicler and official, and I wrote the History of the World Conqueror, which is about the Mongols.
And could you explain your experience with Mongols?
I saw their gruesome attacks throughout Persia, and saw them killing people by the tens of thousands.
And how would you describe the scene you witnessed in Bukhara?
The Mongol troops came in, they completely slaughtered and looted Bukhara, and there was at least 30,000 people left dead. They then burnt the city, and they didn't even spare any animals.
And what was your experience with the Khan family itself?
I saw them deprive people of their lives and possessions, and those that they didn't kill, they left homeless and leaderless, having to pick up their lives from nothing.
And finally, if you could use a few words to describe the Mongols, what would you use and why?
I would call them uncivilized, barbaric, inhuman. I do not see how anyone can kill so many people without remorse and be considered human. They killed millions of people.
Thank you, that is all.
Thank you. The witness is open to cross-examination.
Come on, Abby. There you go.
Get out of my.
You may begin.
How do you accompany Hulagu in the sacking of Baghdad? I don't know. You accompanied someone in the sacking of Baghdad.
Like, I worked with the Mongols, is that what you're saying?
No, you worked with someone, I'm not sure who. And you took over a city.
You're asking.
So, did you do that?
That's my Okay. Do you blame yourself for the deaths of the people in Samarkand? Then how do you explain the massacred group of Mongol traders?
I don't know.
Well, you should know. Okay, we're good here.
All right, no further questions? All right. Our next witness.
Their witness is given to
I'm waiting for order in the court. Our next witness that's going to be called to the stand is Mustasim. You may begin when you are ready. This is now. You're ready. Carry on.
What is your name?
Oh, how do you say it? I don't know.
Why are you here?
Because the Mongols went and conquered Baghdad even after I asked them not to. And yeah.
What was the scene when you were conquered?
Well, what happened is they killed roughly 200,000 of my soldiers, and between 200,000 and 800,000 random civilians. They killed me.
How did they kill you?
They rolled me up in a blanket, threw me on the ground, and let horses trample me because they didn't want any royal blood to be spilled. Yeah.
That's it.
Nice, Earl.
No further questions? No further questions.
I'm about to get toasted.
Main character, here we go. You may begin.
All right, so start off by giving me your name and your occupation. What you want.
Occupation? My name is Al Mustem.
Your name is Mustasim. Now let me ask you, what are your opinions of the Mongols? What do you think about them?
I think they have very good tactics, but some of what they do is very uncivilized.
Now, but let me remind you that you were the last caliph of the Abbasid Empire. Now let me remind you that the Abbasid Empire did exactly what the Mongols did to yours. You, the Abbasid Empire, conquered, overthrew, and destroyed the Umayyad Empire years before. Okay? You did exactly what the Mongols did to you and your people. So now I have this question for you. Do you think that maybe your opinion may be skewed due to what the Mongols did do to you? I have no further questions.
The next witness that's going to be called to the stand is Pope Innocent, who's already on the way to the stand. You may begin.
Can you please state your name for the court?
I am Pope Innocent IV.
What were your interactions with the Mongols like?
Well, we exchanged multiple letters throughout the years.
And what exactly did those letters say?
Well, my letter asked the Mongols that they could, please stop killing innocent Christians. Not because I had anything against that, it's just that the wrath of our God would come down upon them, and I didn't want that. Because I too dream in color and in rhyme. Because I'm one of a kind in a full house. Because whenever I open my heart, my soul, or my mouth, a touch of God rains out. In the church.
Order in the court, there's a witness on the stand. A pope, mind you.
Okay.
What did the letters from the Mongols say?
They said that I did not know what God wanted, and that I should submit to them, and that they're gonna come over here and just kill all of us. I don't like that.
And how did those letters affect you?
Well, I was pretty scared. Europe was pretty scared. But since we're God's chosen people, we decided to ready an army to defend ourselves.
No further questions.
Thank you. The witness is open to cross-examination.
Don't fail.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So, Pope Innocent IV, what were your opinions on the Mongols?
Well, I thought they were some pretty creative guys who found a way to conquer a lot of land, but I didn't like that they're coming and killing a bunch of innocent Christians.
Isn't it true that you approve the use of torture to extract confessions of hearsay? And would you consider that uncivilized?
Please define hearsay. I am serious.
I'm asking you questions, not you.
I am serious.
Do you consider torture uncivilized?
I find it to be that sometimes it's necessary to use, but it should never be just used for fun in the case of the Mongols. Like killing my good friend, Moosh. That guy.
Well, is it also true that you condone the execution of relapsed heretics by burning them alive?
I have no idea what heretics are.
Then why were you burning them alive? I'm just curious.
You speak really quickly. I did not understand the last thing you just said.
Back to the torture.
Like I hear a lot of organs in my church. It's pretty loud. And it's I'm ringing in my ears.
Let's get that checked.
Oh no, but see, we don't have a lot of good doctors. I mean, they're most likely good teachers.
Yeah, you are pretty unadvanced. Anyways,
I'm not sure if you would say that. Have you seen my church?
Did you in 1245 issue a proclamation stating that you had legal control over the whole world and all of its people?
God gave the world to its people. I mean, I expose my soul to the world.
I'm sorry,
The globe.
Innocent. You are
To make it better for these little boys and girls. I am a heaven sent
Next witness will be Ibn Al-Athir. Alright. You may begin.
Who and why are you here?
My name is Ibn Al-Athir, and I am here on behalf of the millions that were slaughtered by the hands of the Mongols.
So, when and where did the acts occur?
These acts occurred from 1220 to 1221, and they occurred all across Eurasia.
So, what and how did that specifically happen?
These Mongolian parasites from the steppes of Asia, moved into first Asia, Russia, and then into Eurasia.
So, how have they affected you?
I have witnessed many of these events, and I am traumatized by the savagery of these acts.
So, how have they affected your family and community?
One of my relatives was taken capture by a Mongolian horseman, and he, along with 17 others, were sentenced to die on a road. And they were terrified of this one horseman when they could have easily killed him and escaped, which they luckily did before they were all slaughtered.
There is no further question.
True.
We're in the story.
All right. You may begin cross-examination.
So you are a historian who has extensive research on the Mongols and the Crusades.
That is correct.
So what is the difference between the Christians murdering a bunch of Islamic people, and how does that differ from the Mongols going around and conquering?
I'm not saying I liked the conquests, but I am saying that the Mongolian invaders employed tactics that were never seen before, killing men, women, and children alike.
But is it the same? It's the same thing. They went in there and conquered all the people in Jerusalem, and all Mongols did the same thing, conquering Eurasia.
Yes, but not at the tactics that were used by the Mongols.
All right. So, like other people were saying before, the military tactics that they used, what were they?
They were to...
All right, I'll summarize. Come in from flanking and have other, just what Justin said. So, the Mongols were smart people, correct?
It depends upon what your definition of smart is.
So they used their tactics and conquered it, but then they helped the people afterwards. Like once they conquered the entire land, they helped people in so many different ways, like helping the traders move freely.
By capturing my relative and lining him up on a road to kill him.
They did that to some people, but in the end they helped many more.
They did that to
no further questions.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I think at this time the prosecution has no more further witnesses. Does the prosecution rest? Prosecution rests. At this time, the defense has the floor. The defense will call their first witness, Genghis or Chinggis Khan, to stand.
That's not me.
You may begin.
What is your name?
My name is Chinggis Khan.
And what is your importance to the Mongols?
I led the Mongols to many conquering lands.
How are you able to conquer so much land?
I had a very precise but small army, and even though we were very small, we just wanted to conquer many lands like the Roman Empire.
After you enlarged your empire, how did you treat the people within it?
I treated men and women very equally, giving women more rights in this empire than in others. Unlike the Umayyad and the Abbasid Empire, I did not impose a tax on people of a different faith.
What relevance does this have?
This shows that I gave many freedoms to the people of my empire and that I was okay with anything that they cared to do. It also shows that I had many more peasant followers because I gave them many more opportunities, just like the elites in my society.
No further questions.
Thank you. The witness is open to cross-examination by the defense. All right. You may begin.
All right. Did you or did you not lead in the slaughter of about 40 million people, which is about 10% of the world population at the time?
I led, but that does not mean that I was the main source.
But were you the reason for it?
That's
yes or no?
No.
No?
Because I was just the leader of it.
So your troops did it?
Yes.
Understand. And would you say this was for the greater good of the Mongol Empire?
Yes, because we wanted these lands, so we really...
So it was for the people in general?
Yes.
And let me remind you that Adolf Hitler did a very, very, very similar thing. He wanted what was good for his people, the German people, and so exterminated many of different ethnicities. And he only killed about 11 million. And would you say you're about 4 times worse than Hitler?
No.
No? All right. Now, on to your death. At the time of your death, would you agree that you were able to expand your empire across the continent of like Eurasia,
Yes, I believe that I would be able
including
to.
China?
Yes.
Uh-huh. And after being exposed to China's burial and tomb culture, do you acknowledge that around 20,000 men were killed trying to conceal your grave?
I did. I was dead at the time, so I really don't know how they did it.
And finally, you were quoted saying that the greatest happiness is to vanquish your enemies, to chase them before you, to rob them of their wealth, to see those near and dear to them bathed in tears. Is that correct?
Am I correct?
Yes. Thank you. No further questions.
Oh my
You may begin.
All right, please state your name, spelling the last for the record.
Emperor Shizu of the Yuan Dynasty, formerly known as Kublai Khan, Shizu.
All right, now Mr. Shizu, what would you say is your finest achievement in life?
Oh, well, definitely establishing the Yuan Dynasty, which will live inevitably for longer than I will.
All right, now please describe the Yuan Dynasty under Mongolian rule.
Well, it was a bureaucracy, centralized, of course, like former dynasties in China. On top of that, I built off of my grandfather's meritocracy because I feel like that is most fair to my subjects. I outlawed torture because it's barbaric and, barbarism is bad. And
how did you interact with foreigners, say the West, for example?
Well, we traded with them a lot. Marco Polo, he hung out with me.
Now, could you give examples of, exchanged goods between the West and the East?
Oh, well, besides various literatures, there was, we got glass from the West, and in return, we gave them the technology of the printing press. The lunisolar calendar was created, and it's only 20 seconds off from present day.
Nice. And just as a matter of personal opinion, what was your favorite part of the culture of the Yuan Dynasty?
Well, as much as I love drama and literature in general, I feel like the religious tolerance that was prevalent in the Yuan Dynasty is definitely.
Really, what sort of religions did you tolerate?
Well,
without tax, might I add.
Oh, yes. There were Islamic peoples, both Orthodox and Roman Catholic, Christians, and Buddhists.
All right, no further questions.
Thank you. This is open to cross-examination.
Is it here for the short staff shows up to
Stop.
You may begin.
Is it true that your name, you are the Kublai Khan, grandfather of Genghis Khan, great slayer?
No, actually, I'm the grandson of. And also, my name is Emperor Shizu. As many dynastic rulers before me, I adopted a Chinese name.
May you please write your name in Roman numeral, in the Roman alphabet, Roman Orthodox alphabet, for us, for the witnesses, right now, for the stand. That's all.
I don't think this is any relevant.
It's very relevant.
No objection. Yeah, definitely not.
Incorrect. You can't write. He said you'd stay in character. Everybody knows a civilized person can write. Is it true that you yourself don't even know where your legacy is buried in the ground?
My legacy is buried where I am, because all dynastic rulers are buried together.
But before you, those who have passed the bloodline down.
So my ancestors, not my legacy.
Shut up.
All right. No, my grandfather was a very secretive man. So.
It's too early. So, do you know what happened to all the artisans and peaceful people living in Mongolia after you left?
Well, yes, they moved to China with me to create the Yuan Dynasty.
What happened? But with your homeland, the people who stayed in Mongolia?
Yeah, they became part of the Yuan Dynasty. because Mongolia became part of the Yuan dynasty.
I'm done.
Your time has elapsed. Our next witness, order in the court. Our next witness is Marco Polo. Marco Polo can come to the stand. Pull it together, everyone. Carrie, you may begin.
Okay, so start by stating your name and your occupation.
I am Marco Polo, and I was a traveler and a merchant.
What was your relationship with the Mongols? Or in other words, why are you here?
With the Mongols, I would help out with the cons. I would deliver messages to other empires, people, whatever they needed. I would carry out various tasks for them.
And during your time, what were some things that you noticed about the Mongols?
I noticed that they paid much respect to their leaders. I noticed that their governor had a beautiful palace in Karakoram, and they treated men and women equally. It was very nice.
And how did the Mongols act towards you, being a part of their culture?
They treated me very well. They let me stay in beautiful places. I was treated well, served well.
And in your experiences with the Mongols, would you consider them civilized or not civilized? No further questions.
Alright, the witness is open to cross-examination. You may begin.
Working in Mongolia, were you able to accompany them on any, missions or attacks or anything like that?
No, I don't believe so. I was just a messenger.
Did you deliver any messages to certain empires saying they were going to be attacked?
I did not get involved with what the content was. I just
Then what was your point in Mongolia?
to deliver the message.
What message?
Whatever the cons wanted.
What did they want?
Ask them.
Oh, you don't know.
No, I did not look at the messages. It was not mine. It was not for me to see.
You think they are civilized, correct?
Yes.
Why would you say that they are civilized?
They treated people well in their country, their empire. Men and women were very equal, and they just treated everyone very well.
They didn't treat the people that conquered very well.
Well, that was their decision. I'm sure the people did whatever they did, they deserved.
How would you define barbaric?
Relevant.
Yes.
Okay.
Very relevant.
Barbaric. I don't know. Someone acting as though they don't have any morals.
Well, Oxford Dictionary states that a barbarian is anyone not of Greek or Latin origin, so it seems that the Mongols fit that criteria. Yep.
So did China.
Yep.
And I don't believe that they did anything to cause a debate over civilization.
Maybe they did. No further questions.
The next witness to stand is William Rumble.
Good luck, William. A plus. Keep the legacy going. Smiling upon you.
Alright, you may begin.
Please state your name for the court.
I am William of Bluebrook.
What do you do for a living?
I am a Franciscan missionary and an explorer.
Why are you here today?
I visited the Mongolian courts.
What was your purpose for visiting the Mongolian courts?
I went to promote conversion to Christianity and to gauge support from the Mongols for the Crusades.
What did you observe during your visit?
The Mongols had portable tent-like homes called yurts, which were very large, could be 30 feet in width, and they were quite impressive. And I also greatly admire the logistic achievements of the Mongols. The Mongol culture is very interesting and is largely based on military. Their warriors were thought to be better led, organized, and disciplined by their opponents. They were very loyal to their leaders. And on the topic of religion, the Mongols were very accommodating to their practices. Many of the Mongols themselves practiced a religion centered on rituals invoking ancestors.
So do you think they were civilized?
Yes. They showed advanced social development and organized government system, and they had a unique culture.
No further questions.
Thank you. The witness is open to cross-examination. You may begin.
So you feel as if the Mongols were civilized, correct?
Correct.
Is it true that you, as well as your observations of the Mongolian Empire, were quite often negative?
No, not exactly.
Do you recall ever trying to get the Mongols to be more religiously tolerant?
They already were very tolerant. They tolerated other religions.
So I assume that while you were traveling, the homes of the Mongols were very scattered and unorganized?
No, they were very organized. They organized their yurts to be facing a specific direction, and they were very organized.
No further questions.
All right, thank you. Our last witness today is Charles. Stand. Yes. All right, you may begin as we are rolling down.
Wait, are you recording all this?
Yeah, she
is.
When Earl's crossing.
Wait, is Jackie watching right now? Oh, hi Jackie.
When Earl's cross-examination questions are better than the weekend.
Yeah, you're losing your time. Go.
That's our time?
Yeah.
Alright, so what is your name?
Charles Altman.
What is your occupation?
I am a historian.
So what book did you write?
Russian and the Golden Horde, Mongols' Impact on Medieval Society.
So how are you certified to write this book?
I studied at Indiana University and am an expert in Mongolian history.
So what positive did the Mongols have on the conquered lands?
They very much impacted the economic success.
And how did they accomplish that?
Through trade and protection of trade.
What other things did they do to benefit their conquered people?
They provided them with political protection.
So in your opinion, were the Mongols civilized people?
Yes, they were, because they showed characteristics of being civilized.
No further questions.
Thank you. The witness is open to cross-examination. You may begin.
Okay, so Charles, did the Mongols slaughter many people, including innocent civilians and children, when you said they conquered nearly all of Asia?
Yes, as happens with every conquering, people who aren't meant to be killed get killed, just like in the Crusades.
Also, were the Mongols destructive when they conquered nearly all of Asia?
If the people they were trying to conquer put up too much resistance, yes.
So, were you even alive to witness these events?
No, I'm a historian.
Did the Mongols benefit any other civilization that they conquered other than China and Persia?
They helped every civilization that they conquered. Yeah.
Can you list?
Off the top of my head, no.
Did the Mongols like to drink often?
Is this about any
Well,
rebel?
you stated that they did in your book.
That's in my book. I don't see how this has anything to do with them and their conquering.
Well,
Why do you keep looking over
because
there?
Well, you stated that they did in your book, and if they're if they like to drink often, and get drunk often, do you think that they're uncivilized?
I think they are civilized because adults nowadays still drink. There are adults that drink often, and they're still part of a civilization, making them civilized.
No further questions.
We have a really quick closing statement by each side. Prosecution, you're up. If you would like to do such closing, you may begin. You have a closing.
I can close this.
All right, make it happen. Your time is begun.
As we can see from this presented evidence, there is no question, not one single question, that Genghis Khan, great slayer of the eastern states, is guilty.
Thank you. You may begin.
Alright, again, my name is Justin Sung, and I represented the defendants on this case. Now, the prosecution, their entire case, if you can call it that, rests on this picture of these Mongolian barbarians capturing cities. But on the same gallery, next to that picture, would lie 3 more pictures. Vlad the Impaler, making victims sit on spikes until the spikes had pierced their entire body and their brain before they died. Crusaders, slaughtering Muslims and Jews alike in Jerusalem until the streets were ankle deep in blood. And the Inquisition, let's say. And all of those we considered civilized societies. They were no less barbaric. They didn't utilize any less torture than the Mongols did. And the Mongols were simply driven by the belief that they should rule the world, as the Christian, the Pope Innocent IV, stated that the church had control over the whole world because God gave it to them. So, yeah, we hope that you, the jury, deliver the verdict of not guilty, because the prosecution has not supplied the evidence to support the verdict, because the defendant does not have to
Your
prove that he is
time
innocent.
has elapsed. Thank you.